So now we'll look at 9.1. 9.1 will start on page 62 in your notes. And we won't do all of these examples. A lot of this will be a review from Foundations of Math. So we'll just sort of hit some examples kind of here and there. So this first example is really just to remind you that we can write times without any dot or multiplication sign in between. If we say 8 times a, usually in algebra we just write 8a. So if we have 3 times x, we would probably just write 3xx, or even better, 3x to the second power. 8 times 2a plus b, we would write 8 parenthesis 2a plus b. Expressions are a collection of numbers and letters and arithmetic signs. There is no equal sign in an expression. Evaluating means that we're just putting numbers in place of the letters and then finding out what the answer is. So example 2a says the SAE rating of an engine, which is the letter R, is equal to this equation. Find the SAE rating if the D, the diameter of the cylinder, is 3.5 and the N, the number of cylinders, is 6. So we're trying to find R, and they tell us that D is 3.5, so we'll put that in, and N is 6. And it's a really good idea to just always, when you're replacing a letter with numbers, to put it in parentheses. So we'll do this top part. We can do that all at once in our calculators. If you do 3.5 squared times 6, you get 73.5. And then we can divide by 2, and we get R is equal to 36.75. We'll skip B, and we'll go on and we'll do C. So in example 2C, we're replacing those letters with numbers. We know X is 4, Y is 3. So I have B is equal to, so I'm going to put my X in parentheses as 4. And I'll put my Y in parentheses as -3. I told you before, it's a really good idea to always put your number in parentheses when you're replacing it. So remember, order of operations says that we have to do exponents first. So 4 to the second power is 16. And -3 to the second power, remember, means -3 times -3, and that's a positive 9. So 16 minus 9 is 7. Example 3a is very similar. This is an expression. We'll put A in parentheses, and then B in parentheses. And it tells us C is -6, but there's no C in this problem, so we're not using it for example A. We would just take 3 times 3 times 4. So this is 9 times 4, and we get 36. We'll skip example B, and we'll skip example C, and we'll go on to D. B and C are just similar, and I think you've done that work before. So when we look at C, I'm going to copy everything except the letters where we're putting our numbers. So the idea here is that I want C to be -6, so I'm going to put -6 in parentheses, and that's squared. And then B, I want to be 4, so we'll put 4 in parentheses. So we'll talk about order of operation. Just a reminder, we have to do exponents first, so I do -6 times -6 is 36. There's nothing to do with this 4. There's nothing to multiply it by or exponent, so we don't need the parentheses around it. Then we need to do what's in parentheses, so we'll do 36 minus 1, which is 35. And we'll do 2 plus 4, which is 6. And 35 minus 6 is 29. So here we have a couple of formulas. We have temperature formulas. So we're going to use the formula that's given to us here. It tells us that if we're trying to find C, we want to use C is equal to 5 parenthesis F minus 32 over 9. Now my F here is 650, so I'm going to put 650 into here. And then I would start inside parentheses. 650 minus 32 is 618. So now I have 5 times 618 over 9. So I'd do the top part next. Do 5 times 618, which gives me 3090 divided by 9. So I'll divide that by 9. And I get C is equal to 343.3 repeating degrees Celsius. And when you're labeling temperature, it's the degree symbol first and then the letter. Degrees Celsius, or degrees Fahrenheit. And we'll skip example B because it's exactly the same. And we'll do example C. It uses the other formula. The other formula says if I want to find F, I take 9 times my C, divide by 5, and then add 32. So here my C is negative 160. I'm going to put that in here. It's a negative number, so I'm really going to be careful about putting it in parentheses. I'll start with this 9 times negative 160, and I get negative 1440. I'll divide by 5 and then add 32. So I'm going to start by dividing by 5. So I get negative 288, and then I need to add 32. And I get negative 256 degrees Fahrenheit. Example D works exactly the same way, so I think you're ready to start your homework.